Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Gen Politics. We're several days into the conflict between Hamas and Israel, and tensions are rising. More and more action is taking place. Other countries are considering where they stand, what they should do, which side they should help. And the future is unknown as to if this conflict will be settled soon or if it'll take a long time for things to settle down. And many different political pundits have their thoughts on the matter and their different allegiances. And those of you who may follow the Daily Wire may know that Ben Shapiro, their most prominent political commentator, is a very ardent Israel supporter. And I wanted to show a clip of his thoughts on the matter and then kind of break down what I believe to be what's right and what's wrong about his statements here. So let's take a look at this clip.
The real risk for Israel in not finishing off Hamas right now is that this is taken as a sign of weakness, as it certainly would be, by Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a far more dangerous terrorist group than Hamas. Hamas is a dangerous terrorist group. They just proved it by killing 1,300 Jews. Hezbollah currently has over 100,000 highly sophisticated rockets aimed directly at the north of Israel. Estimates suggest that were Hezbollah to fire all of those rockets, we wouldn't be talking about 1,300 dead Jews. You would be talking about somewhere between 20 and 30,000 dead Jews, day one. If Hezbollah gets in, Israel will have no choice but to unleash the Air Force. If they unleash the Air Force, they're not going to be worried at that point about civilian casualties at all. They're simply going to have to eviscerate the entire south of Lebanon and topple the regime in Lebanon that supports Hezbollah. If that happens, Iran undoubtedly gets in, and so does Syria. If that happens, and Israel is now faced with a full war in the north, combined with a war in the south, because they will not have defeated Hamas, that's the predicate. If Israel is forced to the wall, the possibility of nuclear exchange is extremely high. That is why it is very important that the United States provide the material aid to Israel.
So first off, what should Israel do in response to the attacks from Hamas? Should they fully invade Palestine and remove Hamas by force? Should they level the Gaza Strip? Should they try to be more tactical about it? What should they do? Well, the sad thing is the more action they take, the more it's going to escalate and the more they'll need to do. And Ben is saying here that if you don't wipe out Hamas right now, it'll be a sign of weakness and a signal to other countries and other terrorist groups that you are weak, that Israel is weak and therefore can be attacked and invaded by several countries in an alliance. And that may be the case. But it may very well also be the case that if you attack Hamas and in doing so undertake massive civilian casualties, which has already happened in Palestine, but I'm talking numbers that could be way worse, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, that's also a signal to other countries around Israel that peace negotiations are breaking down, that they're going to use the maximum force necessary to protect their interests. And so other countries may say, well, this is the time to get involved because maybe first they take out Hamas and the Gaza Strip as a threat. But then maybe what if Israel points their attention to another country? Well, that's what you have to consider if you're a foreign country. What happens if Israel succeeds here, uses maximum force? Will they use it on us? And if that's a possibility, should we attack them now? And so escalating by any means is risking full-blown war, if you're not already calling it war already, between Hamas and Israel. But this could escalate into a huge Middle Eastern conflict. And it could extend beyond the Middle East, because we know other world superpowers kind of have their hands in the Middle East, us and Russia, and in part China. The only part of the U.S. military that I think should be involved is in regards to the hostage negotiations. We have American hostages being held by Hamas, and I would also support us helping the Israelis get back their hostages as well. But other than that, I don't see the need to escalate and involve the U.S. in military conflicts. And so Ben says we should give money to Israel, the U.S. should. And we already give so much money to Israel. And are we really going to fund another massive war? If this is going to escalate into a full-blown war, are we just going to fund it? Should we take a side in this to that degree? I think absolutely offering humanitarian aid to both sides would be acceptable as well, not just Israel. But to fund a war, especially a war that could end with nukes, because Israel is a nuclear superpower. And as Ben said in this video, the likelihood of nuclear war increases if this conflict goes on. And yeah, I agree. It does. And that's the concern. So the question at its root is, should we escalate or de-escalate? And I think we should do everything in our power to de-escalate the situation. But Ben seems to agree with Israel that we should basically wipe Hamas off the map, and if we have to take Palestine with it, then so be it, to send a message of strength. But as we've seen throughout world history, a lot of times messages of strength invoke fear, and fear invokes preemptive attacks by other foreign powers. So let me know what you think. Do you think Ben's right here? Do you think we should fund Israel in this conflict? Do you think we should escalate and try to, by maximum force, take out Hamas and any other resistance to Israel's safety? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.